Hello, welcome back, and in this lecture we are going to learn about box shadow property. Previously we have added the box shadow property to this create post wrapper. As you can see, it's given the box shadow. So if you know about the box shadow, you can escape this lecture. If you don't know about the box shadow, stick to this lecture. You will understand what you can do with this box shadow property. So this is the example.html file, and here is the example which I have created for you. So basically this is a flex item inside a flex container, and I've given the center position inside the flex container. So let's add a box shadow property to this element to see what will happen if we use box shadow property to this element. So here you can see this is the flex container. We have selected the div. So here the flex item 1. Here we are going to add a box shadow property. So if we use box shadow, there are 4 possible value for the box shadow. So box shadow property has 4 value. The first value is referred to horizontal offset, and the second value is referred as vertical offset. The third value is used for blur, and the last value is used for color. You can use a color name, or you can use a hexadecimal color value, or you can use a RGB color value. So here you can put a color, and the right way of doing this, we specify the value for the horizontal offset. Let's say we want a 2 pixel horizontal offset shadow and 4 pixel to vertical offset, and let's say we want a blur of 3 pixel, and we want a color of hash, let's say 333. Save the file and let's refresh the page. As you can see, it's given the box shadow to this element, and it's given the box shadow that we have determined here. We have given here. So what we have said, that give a 2 pixel of horizontal offset and 4 pixels of vertical offset, and give a 3 pixels of blur value, and we have given the color also. So that's what we can do with the box shadow property. So what else we can do? Thing is, we can add a different color box shadow to this flex item 1. So let me show it to you. As you can see, we have given the black color. Let's remove this, and let's say we want a red color, and after the comma, whatever we type here, it will act as a second shadow. So let's say we want to add a second shadow of green, and we want a horizontal offset of 4 pixels, because if I put 2 pixel, it will not show in a horizontal offset because the value will be the same and the color red already there. So the second color will be hide from the top because red color will be overlapping our second color. So let me show it to you. So let's say the second color horizontal offset will be 4 pixels, and vertical offset we will say 6 pixels, and the blur value could be same, so we'll say 3 pixels, and the color will be green. So let's save the file and let's refresh the page. As you can see, it's given the red color and it's given the green, but you can't see it. If you zoom in, you can see is given the green shadow, but the red color is overlapping because the value is very close. If I put larger value here, or larger number to vertical as well, if I save the file and when we refresh the page, you can see the vertical offset, the horizontal offset give a much larger space to this shadow. So that is why you can easily see what is going on here. As you can see, our second color is implemented, and you can also add a third shadow. And let's say we want a blue color. For the blue color, we will add 8 pixels of horizontal offset. For the vertical offset, we will say 10 pixels and the blur value will be 3 and color will be blue. So let's save the file and let's see what happened. I think we done some mistake here. Yes, we haven't put the pixel. So let's save it again and let's refresh the page. As you can see, it's given the blue, but the blue is hidden because the green shadow is overlapping the blue, because we given the value smaller than the green, because the blue is after the green, so green is overlapping the blue. So we need to add a larger value if we want to show that color shadow. So instead of using 8, we will say 16, and here 16 we can say 18 for the vertical offset. So when we refresh the page, you can see now the blue color is, you can see, visible from the here and here. You can give a larger value. Here you can say 18 pixels and here you can say 20 pixels. Now the shadow will be more clearly visible, as you can see. That is how you can add a multiple color shadow to that specific element. What else more we can do? We can do many things with this shadow. Let's say if I open up the developer tool, let's zoom out, and as you can see, we have given the color. Here you can see it's given the color and the box shadow value of 3 different shadows. So the first shadow is the red. We need to increase the horizontal offset to see what we can see in the real time. As you can see, it changes the horizontal offset from here, and let's change the vertical offset. So that is much better for the red. I think the blur value 0 is better. So let's change this as well. Maybe the positive value will be better. As you can see, if I give a negative value, which we have given to this red color, it moved to the left side. If I give a positive value, it moved to the right side. So that is an important thing to notice, that whenever we give a positive value, it will move in a normal position. But if you want to add it to the opposite direction, you can put a minus sign to that value. It will directly change its position to the opposite side. Let's say we are here for the vertical position, and this vertical position is 30 pixel from the top. Let's say if we put minus here, you can see now it's bottom 30 pixel up. So that is how the minus is affecting this value. So for the green color, we are going to add a horizontal offset, and we have added the horizontal offset. It's time to add the vertical, and we will say move 22 pixels. That's much better. And remove the color blur, and the color is okay. And let's say for the blue, we will add it here. Okay. And for the vertical, we will move it to the top a little bit, and that is better. So let's remove the blur. So what we are going to do here, we are going to change the color, and we are going to give a transition to this element whenever our mouse hover to that element. So that is what we are going to achieve. So let's change the color to some other color. So let's say this is better. You can also reduce the opacity, but it will act in a hexadecimal value, and some of the browser doesn't render this color. So I think 0 opacity will be okay, because some of the browser will not show this opacity. So for the green, we will change it to much lighter. Let's say this is okay. And for the blue, let's say we want some lighter color as this. It's okay. So copy this color value, and let's open up the flex item 1 and remove this box shadow from here. And what we are going to do here, we are going to add a flex item again, and we are going to add a hover state. Whenever we hover to this element, we need to add this box shadow property. And what we have done here, we have given the color which we have selected inside the developer tool. So let's save the file and let's refresh the page. So as you can see, when we hover to this, you can see it gives the box shadow, but it is not good as we want. So let's add a transition property, which I have already talked about. So let's add a transition. So for the transition property, we are going to add to the flex item. So we'll say flex item, give a transition, and this time we are going to use all value, because we want to say that whenever changes is occur to this flex item 1, either is to the display property, to the align items, to whatever property gets changes, act on that. So this all property will grab the box shadow property which applies on the hover state. So let's add a time duration, and this time we are going to say 400 milliseconds. The transition style will be ease in. So we'll say in, and let's end this and let's save the file and let's refresh the page. And notice when I hover to this element, you will see the transition. You can see. So you can do much faster if you reduce the time from here and now refresh the page. You can see it's much faster than before. So let's add a border radius to the parent element to look much better. So let's say border radius of let's say 20 pixels. So let's refresh the page, and if you hover to this element, you can see is given the box shadow to this element on a hover state. So that is how you can do many things with the box shadow property. So let's add a box shadow to this element and see what happens. So let's say box shadow 2 pixel from horizontal offset and 2 pixel to the vertical offset, and give the blur value of 4 pixels and give a color value of 333. So let's say refresh the page. Now is given the box shadow to the element, to the flex item. So let's hover it. You can see it's changed the box shadow and is giving the transition to this as well. So that what we can do with this box shadow property. We can also do many things with this, but I think that's it for now, and see you in the next lecture.